This is a collection of stories from the Financial Times Weekend Edition, 19th to the 20th of July 2014. All content belongs to the Financial Times, and this video is for anybody who wants to give themselves a financial education. The MH17 crash in Ukraine. FT analysis of material freely available came to the conclusion that the aircraft was destroyed by rebel forces controlling missiles most likely supplied by Russian forces. Rebel groups said that they had recovered the black boxes and that they had been sent to Russia for examination. The shares in Malaysian Airlines fell by 18%. The FT also has another story about what they claim is Russia's propaganda machine. The article says that within hours of the crash, Russian media was broadcasting theories to explain the disaster. Russian news reports avoided suggestions that pro-Russian separatists might have been responsible, but have suggested that it was a failed attempt by Ukraine's military to hit Putin's aircraft returning from Brazil. But Ukraine missed the target. Another explanation in the Russian media was that Kiev had purposely targeted the aircraft to spark Western military intervention in Ukraine. About 400 flights a day pass over Ukraine. British Airways and Qantas stopped flying over eastern Ukraine well before the MH17 crash. Ukrainian authorities have placed a ban on flying over eastern Ukraine, but there are questions as to why this wasn't enforced earlier. The first test for the UK's new Foreign Secretary. The downing of the Malaysia Airlines plane over Ukraine is the first test for Philip Hammond, the new Foreign Secretary of the UK. Hammond is a former businessman and is said to be a tough critic on Iran's nuclear ambitions. Some say he was chosen because he is close to George Osborne, and Osborne was to take over in the future as Foreign Secretary. The FT says that Cameron and Osborne didn't have any intention of giving this position to Theresa May, the Home Secretary, as she is seen as a future Tory leadership rival. Competition and Marketing Authority, CMA, proposed investigation into retail and small business banking. To be taken place in autumn this year, the investigation may force banks to reveal hidden charges in current accounts and could lead to a large sell-off of branches, the FT says. Apart from a structural shake-up, the two main choices the CMA has in the investigation would be to alter the way customers interact with banks by forcing lenders to make it easier to compare products, or warn individuals and small businesses when they are about to incur a charge. Part of the latest attempt to break dominance of the four largest banks, Lloyds, RBS, Barclays and HSBC, is this new strategic concept. Together they provide 85% of business current accounts and 90% of business loans. Shire's takeover of AbbVie, I hope I pronounced that right, but Shire, the pharmaceuticals drug maker, is said to be going ahead with a £32 billion takeover of US pharmaceuticals group AbbVie. This is the second FTSE 100 drug maker to be subjected to an unsolicited takeover as companies hunt for fresh growth and more efficiency. Wall Street banks posted better than expected earnings in the second quarter. There were stronger revenues from currencies, fixed income, and commodities trading than forecasted. JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs had declines in the FICC business that fell less than expected. Morgan Stanley's strategic shift away from bond trading seems to have paid off as they reported a 46% jump in second quarter profit. But legal costs continue to impede the performance of some banks, with Bank of America's $4 billion settlement with the Department of Justice and Citibank's $7 billion settlement with the Department of Justice. An organized attempt to blackmail Alibaba. Blackmailers demanded $300,000 to prevent publication of a negative information about Alibaba. Alibaba referred to the case to the police. This comes in a string of research-led attacks against companies like Gotham City Research's report of Spanish Wi-Fi provider Gowix that led to Gowix's bankruptcy and resignation of its chief executive. This is a sensitive time for Alibaba as they are planning to list in New York. Global oil price risk rise after news of Malaysian airline crash after fears of disruption to crude supplies. Although contributing to the rise in global oil prices are Israeli ground troops advancing in Gaza, sectarian violence in Iraq, the nuclear talks with Iran that remain unresolved, and renewed violence in Libya. Thanks for listening.